Now, just to give some sense of the scale here, how many people China got on the ground and how fast, during Hurricane Katrina, it took twice as long to get half as many people on the ground. And yet the going is very tough here. Our Neil Karlinski is in Chengdu. He's been tracking this recovery since it first started. Neil. Word just came down from the Chinese government that the death toll has gone from just about 15,000 to nearly 20,000. Now, this is not surprising. Remember, the people on the ground are having a lot of difficulty getting to many of the areas that could have been hardest hit. Let me show you a picture. This is an aerial view of what they could find in many of these smaller villages. As you should be able to see, complete devastation. Now, on top of that, it will take time to figure out what's beneath that rubble. So we have to expect the numbers to go up. Let me show you a second picture now. This is the reality for too many people in Sichuan province. This woman's face, the destruction behind her. This is a portrait of the grim reality that is going on in China. The earthquakes may have stopped, but this situation is still highly unstable. 3 minutes of horror captured on video.
We gotta get out of here.
Let's go to the river.
Coming down.
We gotta try to get to a safer place.
On day 3, life and death struggles continue. Many who were trapped under concrete have stopped crying out for help. And yet hope is sustained by the stories of survival, the miracle of these tiny bodies rescued after 2 days from crushing concrete. The government response has been impressive. Over 100,000 troops, police, and paramilitary are on the ground, and more than 100 helicopters are in the air. Soldiers even parachute into places they can't reach by land in this war for survival. And where they can, volunteers are lining up by the hundreds to give blood. But with progress comes a new problem. Troops scrambling to fix almost 400 dams damaged by the massive jolt. So despite the scale of the relief, the enormity of the problem on the ground is overwhelming. ABC's Stephanie Tsai reports from Chuyang on shell-shocked survivors.
We're in a heavily hit area just about 50 miles from the quake's epicenter. People's nerves here are raw. There are thousands of people just loitering on the streets.
You have to imagine a town of 20,000 people, probably more, like a bad Hollywood film leveled, right? And who knows how many hundreds, if not thousands, may still be trapped alive.
Now, just to give some sense of the scale here, how many people China got on the ground and how fast, during Hurricane Katrina, it took twice as long to get half as many people on the ground. And yet the going is very tough here. Our Neil Karlinski is in Chengdu. He's been tracking this recovery since it first started. Neil.
Chris, based on everything we saw this morning, it's hard to imagine this quake happened 4 days ago. Chinese officials are clearly overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of this disaster, and the people who live here are suffering for it.
Near the epicenter this morning, the town of Hanwang remains frozen in a state of chaos. The clock locked on the moment the earthquake struck. Soldiers marching through town and digging through rubble in all directions. All morning we watched the wounded rush through the streets as if the earthquake just happened, then treated by doctors out on the sidewalk.
Communication electricity are cut off. I cannot make a telephone.
So you don't know if your family's okay?
I don't know.
Not far from here, still more chaos. Here in the town of Wudu, yet another school devastated. They gave up digging here around 1 o'clock this morning after finding 80 of their students dead. 12-year-old Liao Huan told us he came to school today to look for his friends, the ones who didn't make it out. He showed us the cuts and bruises he suffered when he was thrown to safety somehow from here, what used to be his second-floor classroom. Zhao Ping and his 6-year-old son come here because they have no place else to go. Zhao's wife was a teacher here. He says she died helping students get out. His son leaves food out for his mother each night in case she comes home. It is a daily routine repeated across this region by people whose lives remain stuck in tragedy, waiting for something, anything, to get better.
Everywhere we went, Everywhere we went, there were huge lines for all sorts of basic necessities. One line for food, a line for water, a line several miles long for gasoline. People are frustrated and improvements aren't coming nearly fast enough.
In a flash, be the first to know what's coming up on Good Morning America tomorrow with the GMA Daily Flash email. All the great insider details you want to know from GMA. Go to abcnews.com, click the GMA page, and sign up for the Daily Flash. And you can even enter to win the weekly GMA Flash gift bag giveaway. Sign up now.